Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham is one of India's premier top-ranked universities, which focuses on transforming lives through learning, research, and innovation. The university was established 19 years ago in the year 2003 and has made significant achievements in a short time. Education for life, education for living. Amrita University is guided by the thoughtfulness of our Chancellor, Amma, who laid down the philosophy of education for life by placing equal stress on education for a living. It is this vision that led to the establishment of a vast network of educational institutions that provide modern education while imparting the traditional values. While the pursuit of academic excellence forms the core of Amrita's success, it also undertakes the responsibility to shape the whole character of youngsters with love, care, and compassion. The university is headquartered
So hi students, a happy evening to everybody. Today is the day 5 of Engineering Foundation program and I welcome you all to this day. So today is a very special day. We are having two parts today. So the first one is a career guidance and insights from Amrita alumni. So we have our alumni here and after that you will have a poll and then we'll have the Engineering Foundation program quiz. So I know that you all are ready with whatever we have studied during the program. So we'll have the quiz after the discussion with the alumni. So be ready with all the questions that you wish to discuss with our alumni. So I think I'll introduce her now. She is Jyoti Vaidyanathan and she has completed her BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from Coimbatore campus of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. She has completed it from 2016 to 2020. After that, she have been placed in Atlassian. So she worked 1 year as a developer and after that she is currently working as IT development and engineering senior associate at the company. So I take this opportunity to welcome her to this event. So welcome ma'am to the event.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
So yes, I hope the chat box is enabled. And students, we'll just start our interaction and students, you can just post your queries. What are doubts you have? What are things you wish to talk with a person who have already completed the BTech? What are doubts you are in your mind? You can just open it up. So I think you can just give a brief idea about your job profile so that the students will get to know more about it.
Yeah, sure. So I work in Atlassian as an IT development and engineering senior associate. So my job role involves creating integrations that have an impact on the employee life cycle, like right from the time when when a candidate applies to Atlassian and till the completion of their journey at Atlassian. So we work with a lot of things with the various technologies for having an impact on the overall employee life cycle.
So yes, I think some students have started typing in the chat box. So it's like we'll have multiple questions today.
Okay.
So maybe students will have a doubt from the initial side itself, why you have choose the course called engineering, or is it something like, was it your plan maybe from your school days itself, or how you ended up being an engineer?
So when I started off with my 11th and 12th, so I was equally passionate about math, computers, and also biology. So I chose physics, chemistry, maths, and biology in my 11th and 12th grade. But at the side, I was also learning computers during my free time, as much as I could. So for me, the options were open. I had a wide range of options. And when I started exploring the different career options that were available, so I talked to a lot of people, I researched online, and based on my interest with computers, so that is when I decided that this will be a field that will suit me a lot. So I chose that as my major for undergraduate.
So students, there may be some students who feel like, yeah, I have taken physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. So it would be tough for me to be a computer science engineer. So I would say she is really an inspiration for that. So after studying biology and after researching computer science from her side itself, now she is a computer science engineer and is placed and is working with one of the topmost companies. So that's really good. And it's a good advice or maybe a tip for our students. So it's like, do you or have you done any preparations for something like the computer science or something like engineering, maybe coachings?
So I was passionate about math, so I really focused on that during my 11th and 12th grade. And before joining college, I enrolled for a C programming course just to understand the logic of how it works. So I had an idea previously, but I just wanted to kind of brush up my skills before I entered the program. So that is something which I did during my 11th and 12th.
Okay. So it's like maybe about the college. So how you ended up Amrita, or why did you choose Amrita? What was the reason behind it? And was it through AAA or JEE? What was the course or what was the examination that gave you a way into Amrita?
Okay. So for me, I kind of tried writing entrance exams at different places. So I also wrote the JEE mains and got a good score. And for Amrita, I came via the AAA. I wrote the exam, the AAA exam, and that's how I got the seats. So for me, the main reason for choosing Amrita is because I got to know that Amrita has a very good curriculum, and it's revised quite often so that it's up to mark with what the industry is focused on. So this is what I got to know. And the second thing is, in terms of exposure, I knew a couple of people who were studying in Amrita at that time or who had already graduated. So when I talked to them to know about their experience, and that is when they told me like the exposure offered in terms of the co-curricular activities, be different kinds of events or contests, and even the extracurricular activities. So it's not only about these studies, it also helps to, it gives an overall foundation in terms of all the aspects. So that is what I got to know from people, also looked up online. So I decided to choose Amrita for my BTech.
Okay, so that's a wonderful answer. So I would ask our students to type the questions. What are questions you have in mind? So she's completed her BTech in computer science, and we know it's the branch which everybody is looking for at this point of time. So we are open to the questions. You can type what are you have in your mind. So I just want to have an idea. It's like just for our understanding. Okay. So I think Arvindan have typed something. So which programming languages do you prefer for coding for a beginner?
For a beginner, I would say that you can either start off with C or Python. That will give you a good hold. And from then on, if you know C++, that is also completely fine. This is just, I'm saying, for people who are just starting off. And from there, you can try learning object-oriented concepts. If you want, you can learn it in Python, learn it in Java. So these days, I see a lot of people preferring, when beginners, when they start with their programming journey, I see a lot of people choosing Python, but I would give equal preference to C and Python. One thing is that everything, the concepts in all the languages are pretty much the same. The only thing that differs is the syntax and say, for example, what's the function name and things like that. So once you have the concepts clear, it really doesn't matter as to which language you want to choose. Basically, I started with C because at that time I did not have any idea about Python. So at that time I only knew C, C++. And then I moved on to Java, and I felt comfortable there. So I like to code in Java as well as in Python. Yeah.
So even students are asking for, is it something like they can learn from their own side, or do they need to take an external help, maybe join for a course when it comes to the coding? If they are from, especially they're asking this question, why? Because they know you are from a biology background, and maybe there are some students who feel like they need to take engineering, but that biology is something that make them confused.
Yeah, so one thing I would like to tell before I start off with the answer is that if you have taken biology in 11th and 12th, there is nothing to worry about that. It's not only me. In fact, a lot of my classmates and my batchmates were, they had taken biology in their 11th and 12th. So there's no need to panic when you start off with the first semester. And the reason why I'm saying this is because in your first semester, you will definitely start off with only the basics of programming. You will not go with something very detailed. So that's how your one subject that you have in your first semester is going to be the basics. So it's going to be common for everybody in the class, irrespective of whether you learn computer programming in 11th or 12th. That doesn't matter. So for me, I joined a class, as I said before, I joined a class just to be a little more confident. But later on, when I started with my journey in first year, like for instance, Python and a couple of other things, I just learned it online. And the other thing what I did was, in terms of Java, I used to go talk to my professor about it. Like if I had any doubts, I used to contact them after the class and kind of get my doubts clarified. So it's not, I would say, it's not mandatory that you, enroll yourself for something before you join. If you want to do, that's completely fine. But if you don't want to go for that, if you're more of a self-learner, that is also something which you can do. And yeah, the first semester will definitely give you a good idea of all the programming concepts. So you can start off with your programming journey with your first semester as well.
So one more question. So it's like, ma'am, in first year of college, should we focus more on curriculum or coding side? It's like, do we need to put an extra effort on coding? Or is it something like what we'll learn all these things in our curriculum?
Okay, so for in the first year, you'll have a lot of subjects, okay, semester wise, basically. So one part of it will be programming. So in programming, in class, what happens usually is you will be taught the basic concepts, you'll go through some exercise in the classes itself, and then you'll have some assignments on which you can work on, and you'll be submitting it on the portal, right? So this is how it usually happens. And for programming, we also like have lab sessions. In fact, during all the years, we have lab sessions for some of the other courses, and the same goes for programming as well. So you'll have lab sessions where you can work on the concepts that's taught in the class. So what my suggestion would be is, whatever is being taught in the class, right? The assignments and all the tests or the quizzes will cover everything. But what I would suggest is go one step ahead, right? Work on something related to what you learned that day in class. It doesn't have to be very complicated, right? You just start off with something really simple. And when the reason why I say that is, when you do that, you'll try to learn more new things. You'll come across things that maybe you didn't see that error before, and now you want to know how to solve that. So you can find that on your own, or you can come back to your professor the next day and ask them, like, how I'm stuck now, what do I do? So I would always suggest that based on what is being taught in class, always try to learn a little extra.
Okay, that's wonderful. So now there is a question from, I think, Sharan Seth. How did you come to know that computer science was the right fit for you? Have you explored other fields as well?
Yes. So I did explore other fields. I did want to go for biotech, biomedical related fields. And I gave the related exams for that as well. So the reason why I chose computer science is because there's a lot happening here, basically, and I like that. For me, for me, the learning curve should be continuous. There should be something new that's happening quite often. And just learning about the computers and just kind of playing around with it. So I realized that this was my calling. So there's no specific moment, but as I try to learn about this and I try to learn from people about what this industry is, I realized that I would probably fit in here, and that's how I chose.
Okay. So now coming to the entrance exam point, also students have started asking questions. So you told like you have given EEE as well as JEE. So what was the range of examinations? How you have prepared yourselves in such a way that you are able to crack it? Was it triply difficult for you during your time? So these are some of the questions. So maybe now the syllabus is somewhat revised and all. Yes.
That's true. The syllabus would have been definitely revised. That I'm pretty sure of. So when I was preparing for the AEEE exam, at that time I was also preparing for JEE Mains, NEET, and other entrance exams. So at that time, whatever I was preparing for the JEE Mains, I that for my entrance exam, the AEEE entrance exam as well. Both of them, I wouldn't say that the syllabus is, there is a wide range, wide difference. There's nothing like that. Basically, what you have learned in 11th and 12th, that's what will come for your AEEE exam. So that's how
I think I would also add up on to Jyoti ma'am's answer. So the syllabus of AEEE and JEE, it's completely based on what you have studied in your school, maybe based on the 11th and 12th NCERT. So the preparation strategy can be obviously same for both of them.
Yes. That's true.
So I think there is another question from Prajwala. So ma'am, what GPA score is considered to be good by these multinational companies? Students have started thinking about placement.
Okay, that's good. That's good. When I was joining college, I never had thought this much about it. So it's good that students are thinking that way. That's definitely
they
good.
are the smart kids and also.
I definitely agree with that. So for multinational companies, there's no specific GPA. So usually what companies prefer is, most of the companies, I would say, is CGPA that's greater than 6. Now things might have changed, but when I was studying, it was above 6. So there'll be some companies that ask for above 7, above 7.5. Sometimes it might be even above 8. So there's no one standard CGPA range which all the companies would request for.
Okay. So now I think there is another question. What skills and knowledge do you think that you have learned throughout your BTech program was the most useful when it comes to your career?
Okay. So I learned a lot of things in those 4 years, and I wouldn't limit it to something really specific. So starting with my courses, right? So I really learned a lot of things like Python, the core concepts of computer science, being OS, DBMS, networks, programming. So those were the core subjects which I learned. And then during the 3rd year, we also had some elective options. So I chose the electives which I like the most, like computational intelligence and biometrics. So those were the electives which I chose. There's a wide range that you can choose from. And apart from that, I also learned about software project management. So a lot of these things which I learned during my undergrad is definitely helping me here at my career, because I do code in Python, and the software management concepts that we learned about, right? Like how do you go about starting your project from the beginning, and how do you progress? How do you iterate through your project towards the end? So all that journey, and even the programming concepts. So all that really helped me in it does help me even now in my career. And apart from that, I also kind of participated in a lot of co-curricular and extracurricular activities all through those 4 years. So during that time, I interacted with a lot of people. I worked with them, and then we used to conduct some events. So as part of that, some soft skills which I learned was how to work with a team, right? As part of projects in your curriculum, you do have some group projects. Along with that, I also learned a few things from extracurricular and my co-curricular activities as well. Like how do you identify potential issues? How do you resolve that? How do you work with the team? And how you plan things accordingly. So it helped a lot in even building my confidence as well. So yeah, these are the things which I learned during the 4 years. I think the basic thing is that the learning isn't restricted when you're here. You keep learning a lot when you keep exploring stuff.
So now it's like a question about Amrita. What are your impressions, or what do you think about Amrita after being an alumni, after you have passed out of the institution?
Yeah, so now it's been almost 2 years that I've completed my degree. So during the college life, I really enjoyed it in terms of all aspects, be it the studies, events, the exposure that I got and all that. And even 2 years after my graduation, I still feel the effect of what I learned at Amrita having on me, right? Say in terms of having that curiosity and going for things, because basically when you are in Amrita, you'll have exposure to a lot of things. Like probably you'll get confused, like, now, okay, which one should I go for? So there'll be a lot of things that you'll come across that will definitely help shape your career. And I can definitely say that's 100% that I would really agree with. So for me, my journey at Amrita has been pretty great in developing my overall personality and being what I am today here. So that's my take on that.
Yes. So I have a question. It's from Venkata Sohin. So what did you find very difficult in the 4 years of BTech?
Okay.
What was something which was very difficult?
Okay. Okay. I think one thing which I found really difficult was this happened during my I would say the second year. I'm not sure whether it was the third or the fourth. For me, what was more difficult is because a lot of things were happening in the university at that time. People, there were a lot of trend or the buzzwords that go around. Okay, this is popular. This is new. And people are going and trying out different things, and now I got confused, like, what do I do? So now I started learning everything, and then I found it difficult to kind of juggle between all and what to do. So I had to take a pause there and decide, okay, let's go one at a time and try to do that. So I think that's the most difficult part for me in my undergraduation.
Okay, so it's like okay, maybe another question, something like maybe about the campus, about the extracurricular activities. I know you have done a lot in Amrita. So I know you have been a student volunteer at ICPC, the International Programming Contest, for 2 years. You have been an event manager at Anokha, maybe the student coordinator of NSS. So I think you have a lot more to say when it comes to this extracurricular activity. So what was your experience, and what is that you have to tell the future kids? Something when it comes to the other, maybe other than studies.
Yeah. So the ambience at Amrita is pretty amazing. There's a lot always happening. It's a busy place. You'll never feel it to be silent, or you'll never feel bored when you're in the campus. So my extracurricular activities, the journey started from first year itself, during the second semester, when I started volunteering for the ICPC contests that are being conducted at Amrita. So that was my journey.
Maybe I think, sorry for interrupting. You can give an idea about ICPC also. Maybe the students are of 12, so maybe they'll not have that much idea.
Yeah, oh, sure. So ICPC is a coding contest which is conducted on a regional level, national, then the national, and then the international level. So students from different colleges take part in it. And Amrita hosts the regionals, the ICPC regionals. So when I was a student there, it was there in the Coimbatore campus where the regional contests were hosted, and people from different universities used to come for attending the contests. So the first year I did take part in the preliminary round, and I also volunteered for the ICPC event itself, the main event, the regional event itself. And so that's about ICPC, and I did the same thing for 2 years. And along with that, I also enrolled myself for the National Service Scheme units that are there in Amrita. So in Amrita, there are like NSS is a big part of Amrita when it comes to having a lot of activities that create an impact on the lives of people around you. So it's a pretty big thing here at Amrita. And if you're interested, if you like to do social service, or if you have been doing already, you can definitely enroll yourself for that. So I started that journey, I would say during the end of first year, if I recollect correctly. But then, I from the second year onwards, I've been pretty much active in that part, where we used to conduct a lot of events. We used to go to a community nearby to make things better over there. And we also used to have different drives, rallies in the college itself, to create awareness about a lot of things. So that's something which I used to do. And then in Amrita, we have the Tech Fest, the annual Tech Fest that comes around February, March, during that time frame, and that is called as Anokha. So from the first year itself, I used to enroll for workshops, and I tried attending some contests a couple of times. So that is something which I was interested in. And during those workshops, is when I got to know what cloud was. So in the first year, we did have a session on different fields in computer science. There was one workshop, and that is when I learned about what cloud computing is, and I got interested in that space. So that was my first thing with cloud computing. So Anokha is one thing which I would definitely recommend, people to participate, conduct events. I conducted an event with my peers during the third year, and you have a lot of things. You have Amritotsav at that time, where you can take part. So I used to take part in public speaking and extempo. Those kind of events were my interest. So yeah, the list would go on and on, but yeah, this is just probably an answer for what my extracurricular and co-curricular activities were.
So it's like, I think 2 to 3 students have asked the same question. Definitely. So that's why this is important.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Are you planning to pursue masters in computer science? So another student have asked, what we can choose, ma'am, after finishing the BTech course? It's something like, do we have to go for the placement, or is it higher degree? So what's your opinion according to this current situation? So what's your take on it?
So your journey after, so the journey after BTech, I would say probably can be classified into 3 or 4 types, is what I would say. So there are people who are, who want to create their own startup, who are entrepreneurs. So they can start their journey pretty much in college itself. And once you complete your BTech, if you want to continue with that, you can do that. And even if you want to start your idea after completing BTech, that is also completely fine. So that is one way in which students go. The second one is placements. So placements is where you have, you try to attend the job interviews and get placed at a company. And you do have internships as well. So internships plus full time. So those two things comprise your placement journey. And a lot of students go for this option as well. And the third option, which I would say, is pursuing masters. So I know of people who pursue their masters immediately after BTech because they want to do some specialization in some field. So they do that. And then there are some people who work for a few years. They try to know what the industry is, and then they go for masters. And these are the pretty much the three ways in which students, after completing their BTech, they go ahead with their career.
Okay. So it's like maybe regarding the placement, have you received any placement trainings? And students want to know how many interviews you have attended. It's like how many offers, how you landed up at Lation. So what was the whole thing?
Okay, sure. So the interview, like the placement preparation, I think it pretty much begins with your curriculum itself. So I wouldn't say that curriculum is different from your placement training. So in the first year itself, you start learning a lot of concepts that are related, that will help you a lot during your job preparation. Then during the second year, what happens is in Amrita, we have a placement cell, which is called as CIR. So CIR takes immense care in ensuring that, you develop your profile really well. You have both in terms of technical as well as the soft skills, you are well prepared for the interviews. So we used to have three different topics in that. One was the soft skills training. The second one was aptitude, and the third one was verbal. So we used to have weekly classes from the second year onwards on these three things. And this helped a lot. So along with the curriculum, this helped a lot in preparing for the interviews and getting placed. Now coming to how many companies did I attend the interview for? So first, usually companies start off with online assessments. There are companies that also conduct hackathons as well. So I attended the online assessments for around 6 to 8 companies, if I remember correctly. And out of that, I got placed in 2. So one was, the first one was in Micro Focus, where I got an internship plus a full-time offer. So I did my internship at Micro Focus, and then when Atlassian had come, it was for full-time only. So I attended the interview for Atlassian, I got placed. In between, I did attend interviews, interview for VMware. So that was one which I attended. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. So it's like Venkata Sohan, he have a question. It's like, ma'am, what did you find more interesting in your studies? It's like, were you ever excited a lot to learn more, or you have any particular topic or area in your Vita course that you love? Okay.
Yeah. So till the second year, I did not have any specific course which I was more attracted to. So I was equally interested in all the subjects that were there. And when I started, I wanted to create projects of my own during the holidays of after the second year. So that's when I kind of explored and I got interested a lot in machine learning. So I started learning the concepts there, and I was also interested towards web development. So I did, and then we had web development related courses during the third year. So with the help of that, I tried to build projects on my own, and even we did have projects as part of the curriculum, where we work as a group and build something functional. And during the fourth year, we had this subject called software project management. So I was attracted to that because when you work on something, it's not only about the technology, right? It also involves the way you work about it, how you go about it as a process when you work in the industry, right? So that is something which you need to focus on. So I really like that course as well.
Okay. So it's like students want to know more about your interview, I think. So some students are asking about what was the interview, what were the rounds, how it all happened. So they want to know more about it.
Okay, so for the interview rounds, I attended for 3 different companies. But for usually for all the companies that are out there, the first round always begins with an online assessment round, where you would have coding, you would have some aptitude questions. That depends on the way the company wants to ask the questions. So programming is pretty much common for all the companies' online assessments. Then you also have some questions around the core concepts like operating systems, DBMS, networks, DSA. So you have some questions there as well. So this is how the first round progresses. Then what comes later is the interview rounds. So some companies will have 2 rounds of interviews. At Atlassian, I had after the online assessment, I had 3 rounds of interviews. So it is technical, then you have technical plus things related to what you've been working on. Like the interviewers would try to know more about that, like what is your interest, how you've been working in this field across these 4 years. And then what the final round that I had was the values round, where they ask questions related to how do you it's related, it's not technical basically. It involves technical things like how do you work in a project, like what were the things that you learned, what were the challenges that you faced. So these are the kind of, basically they want to know what your personality is, what you like working on, how you work with people. So these are the ways in which companies conduct their interviews. Some companies do have group discussion rounds, and then they have the values round. So this is the like pretty much the basic structure of the interviews at all the companies. For Atlassian, I had 4, and for Micro Focus, I had 3 interviews, excluding the online assessment.
So it's like the whole process was, it's like offline and both online, the whole interview process.
Yeah. So yeah, at that time, we did have interview, the online assessments. Yes, we did have. We did have it on an online basis, but then for the interviews, yeah, we did have interviewers there in the campus, where we attended the interviews.
Okay, so I think another question which is from Prajwala. So it's like, ma'am, do you think Amrita gives students a total whole package required for us after BTech in the open world? So Jyoti ma'am, am I audible? I hope there is some network issue at Jyoti ma'am's end. Yeah. Yes, I'll just repeat the question. So it's like, ma'am, do you think Amrita gives students a total whole package required for us after BTech in the open world? Yes, we'll wait for 1 minute.
Yeah. The journey at Amrita basically prepares you for everything that you need to your career itself. Classes, whatever you're being taught, a little placement journey, or if you want to create something on your own, or if you have other plans as well.
So, ma'am, just one question. It's like, ma'am, does participating in hackathons help you in your career? Is it good to participate?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. The primary reason why I would encourage all of you to participate in hackathon is you learn a lot. So based on what you learned in the class, right, you go one step ahead and try learning more about it, and you try to build something which you have never done before, or probably nobody has ever done before. Right, so that is what you basically do in a hackathon. So I would definitely encourage all these students to take part in hackathons, and there'll be plenty during those 4 years. So definitely go ahead with that, and it also helps you with in your team building skills. It's not only about, okay, I programmed something and it worked, right? It also helps a lot in your team building skills, and you work together as a team. So it definitely, I would recommend everybody to, join some hackathons, whether the whether you're declared the winner or not, that doesn't matter. Participation is really important.
Okay, so I hope I was able to clear almost all the questions that um, students have typed. So I have a question. It's like, any last bit of advice that you would like to give these kids
Okay.
from your side?
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's in these 4 years, right? You'll meet a lot of people, like your professors, and you'll have some people, your seniors, coming into the campus, and you'll have a lot of events where external speakers would come and talk. So always have a good interaction with them, because they know the industry, right? Your professors and the people who conduct events, right? They'll have a lot of idea about how things are working at the industry. So get to know from them what's going on, and whatever you learn as part of your curriculum, take the classes a little seriously, and work towards, and do not be restricted. Okay, this is what I learned in class today, I'm done. No, I would not recommend that mindset for students. Go ahead, there's a lot that happens in Amrita, like every day or the other there's something that's happening in the campus. So do go for events, do attend hackathons, or any other extracurricular activities that you're interested in. Always have that curiosity, right? Don't stop with what you just learned. Always have that curiosity to learn more. And I think that is one major thing which will help you a lot in your career.
So thank you so much. It's like, it was really wonderful. I think our students have received a lot more information. So thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. And it was very good interacting with you. And she gave you a very important tip. It's something like, never stop learning. Always learn new things. Always be open up to a lot of things. What are you face in your daily life? So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for coming. And it was
Thank you for
really a
having me
wonderful
here.
session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So I think this part was really wonderful, and you students have received a lot of insights from our alumni. Now I think we have a quick poll. So you'll have 2 questions on this poll. So you can just go and take the questions. I think Dishant sir, can you please?
Yes.
Yes, we have 2 questions. So please do give your poll. Yes, the poll is active. I think students, you can see the questions. So you can just click on it. I hope the question number 1 is visible. So you can just do the poll. So now the second question is also active. So students, please do take it. Yes, students, the second question is also active. I hope you have attended it. So I think we have come to an end for the first part of today's session. That's career guidance and insights from Amrita alumni. And I hope it was really wonderful and you have received a lot of insights. Now I think we'll move on to the second part. So we have our quiz master here. So I think I would welcome Ashwin. So he is our quiz master. So be ready to attend the quiz. Yes.
Hi, thanks so much. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lakshmi, for having me here. Folks, I mean, I've been told you have a very intensive engineering foundation program, which you have. So just a quick, before I share the link, I'll just quickly take you through the rules. So the quiz will be done on a platform called AHA Slide. First of all, can you hear me? Can you please confirm if
Yes,
you can
sir.
hear me? Okay, great. Okay, great. So the quiz will not be done on Zoom. So there is a platform called AHA Slides, which the link I'll just share with you, all of you. You need to, when you click the link, you need to enter your name, email and number. And subsequently, you just have to choose an emoji, which you all are familiar, considering your age group. And then you'll be seen, your emoji will be seen, your name will be seen on the screen. And the questions will be multiple choice. And there are a couple where you have to type the answer. The time limit for each question is between 40 to 50 seconds. I will share the link on the chat box, the chat platform which you have, as well as on Zoom, and you can see my screen, which will show you that. So just a second, just give me a second. I'll just share the screen right now. Okay, so the link is ahaslides.com/AMQ22. That's the link. I'm going to enter the same link on my chat as well. I have to enter in the Q&A, right?
So, sir, you can put the link in our Zoom chat box.
Okay, or even in the Slido chat box, I can put. Link in.
You can put it here, sir.
I'll put it here. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So students, please be ready to attend the quiz.
Yep, I've added there.
Yes.
So
okay.
you just need to go to the link. I don't know if it's a hyperlink right now. You can just click on the link. If you can see the screen, you can just scan with your phone and it will take you to that link. So all the options are available in how you want to. Please post link in the chat. Which chat? Is that for me?
No.
Okay, so should I put it in the Slido chat as well? Or someone else will do that?
Yes, we'll be doing it.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
students have started coming. Yeah, we can see the emojis. Yes.
Yeah. Please feel free to be generous with respect to the emoji. You can see Sai Nandan, Rakesh, Sheetal, Pavitra. Please feel free to choose an emoji of choice. Sometimes you may not be able to choose. Sometimes it just selects. The system sometimes behaves that way. In case by any chance during the course of the quiz, you do get logged out and you are not able to log back in due to your internet being an issue, just try a variant of the name which you have picked. Maybe just add a number or something to it to go back. Normally it will pick the same name, but if it hasn't or it's not letting you, in case, I'm just telling you the scenario, different things which happen. And okay, kindly don't try to attempt it on Zoom. We have had cases where people thought the quiz is happening on Zoom and they were looking to click on the option on the Zoom. It's happening where you have entered your name. That is, it could be your phone or your laptop. If you are great at alt tabbing, you can do it on a laptop, another tab. But if you aren't and you're more comfortable answering on the phone, you can do that on the phone as well. So it's been pinned in the chat box as well, apparently. So you can, I'll just check if there are any queries which are there. Yep. So the theme of the quiz is the engineering foundation course, which just you folks just completed. We have tried to keep a mix of questions which are how would I say, application based, real world application based, something related to those things, and something which are direct. Probably you might have heard it in the last few days. So it's a mix of those kind of questions. I'm sure many of you, generally when we do these quizzes, we get very close results. So we'll have to wait and see who finally ends up at the top. I'm seeing a lot of people joining: Vidya, Yashwendra, BVS, Aditya, Akshay, Rahul. I'm seeing a lot of emojis also. Keep that coming. We have about 30 people who have joined. 35
Sir,
to
we
30.
can wait for some more time. So
Sure,
let
sure,
more
ma'am.
people join.
We can let's wait for another maybe 5 minutes max if it's required. It's not a problem for us. So if your friends dropped out or are late, please ask them to join. And you can, you have to enter your name, etc. That's the basic requirement for you to join the quiz. Another quick thing, see the other important thing with respect to this quiz is it rewards fastest answers. So just like KBC's fastest finger first, if you answer in the first few seconds, you get more points, provided you answer it correctly. So even if you think of Googling, you will really not benefit much because you might not get too many points. So every question carries the same amount of points, but the fastest correct answers gives you most points. So please remember that. Don't take too much time to deliberate. Even if you don't know the answer or if you have absolutely no idea, just take an educated guess in the first few seconds only. Don't wait for very long. We have given between 40 to 50 seconds. Some questions are slightly longer, hence we have given slightly more time for people to go through it and answer. We also have one trial question so that you can get used to the format, the system. Many people or many of you may not have tried this format on this platform. So you can potentially, everyone will be on the same plane sort of.
So I think, sir, we can start with the trial question.
Okay, there's just one trial question. So I can't stop once I start. So that's how it is. There's just one question, which is a trial. And after that, we'll have to start the main quiz immediately after. So if we have enough people, then we can start. You let me know when you think we have enough people, then we can start the quiz.
Yes, sir. Okay. Wait a minute.
While we have a few minutes, just to give you my background, I am a chemical engineer by education. Post that I did MBA. And I now run my own company called Ashvidea. We work in the space of CSR, sustainability, and we also do quizzing. We actually have a sub brand called Quiz House, which focuses on doing quizzing events for Amrita and many other organizations. And I used to be a quizzer in school days, participated many quizzes. Then during engineer and even in engineering, of course, working life took a bit of that away from me. I mean, just don't find time sometimes. But now I'm back doing quizzes for people. That's something which I do.
So yes, sir, we can start.
We can start? Okay.
Yes.
Folks, anytime if you have not yet logged in, you can scan the link or go to the link which you can see on the left side of the screen. This will be active throughout the quiz. In case you can always join back. Again, please refrain to putting your answers on the chat. That just makes it a mess for everyone. No one enjoys that experience. You will definitely enjoy this answering and getting points and seeing how far ahead or behind you are. So either ways, we'll have some fun. We might ask you to chip in with some facts if you know something about something. So do put that in chat, but not the answers. Okay. So we'll start the quiz now.
So, sir, I think there is some connectivity issue. Some students are just I could see. It's like they are
Okay.
joining, then they are moving. Yeah, you can
Okay.
start, sir. We can start. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a trial question. Which
Yes, yes.
Kerala-based robotics company's robot, Sayabot, collected its loan sanction letter from Federal Bank during Onam? So this is a picture of the company's robot collecting a loan sanction letter. This happened during Onam. It's a Kerala-based robotics company whose robot is called Sayabot. It was seen collecting the letter from Federal Bank, its loan sanction letter. Few more seconds. Which is the correct answer? You might have to scroll down. Yes, it is called Azimov Robotics. I don't know whether this company, I think, became quite, their robots became quite popular during COVID because they were used in a few medical colleges to interact with patients, to deliver advice and medicines and, take basic diagnostics. Post which, of course, they have got a lot of orders. And of course, this loan was to help them, grow better. And of course, as appropriate the name can be, it is named after Isaac Asimov, who first coined the term robot and also wrote about the laws of robotics, which we will come to it at some point during the quiz. If you are familiar with this company or anything else, you can chip in with some trivia about it in the chat. Please don't start speaking. Okay. So if all of you are here, now we'll start the main section, which has points. Please scroll down if you can't see all the options and select an option and press submit. Please don't forget to do that. You have to press submit, like lock kar diya jaye in KBC. Okay. So we'll move to the first question, which will look at question 2. A laser takes the advantage of the quantum properties of atoms that absorb and radiate particles of light called dash. Fill in the blanks with what we are talking about. Is it electrons, neutrons, photons, or quasars? Which of these is what these particles are called? Which basically is what finally becomes a laser. Of course, you can see the picture of Star Wars, very famous lightsabers, iconic lightsabers, although I don't think they've been weaponized in real world, but it is definitely something which looks, really fantastic. Yep, many of you got it right. It is indeed photons. So as you might have read and known, when you apply energy to an atom, it goes into a more excited state. And when it returns, it radiates light, and which, of course, as the word laser suggests, is about amplification of that light in a form to get the final product. So answer is right. 23 of you got it right. Simple question. As I said, many of you are pretty smart in respect to this, and I'm sure paying enough attention during the program. Okay, question number 2 on your screens now. Terahertz lie in the electromagnetic spectrum known as terahertz gap, since making and manipulation is still in an infancy. Between which two known types of waves does terahertz lie? Where does the terahertz lie? Is it between UV and infrared and microwaves, red and green light, or UV and red light? Which of these is where terahertz lie? The image, of course, is of She-Hulk, a popular series which recently streamed. And of course, you might have some connection. I don't know whether how many of you are science fiction readers or comic book readers. We'll have a follow-up question on that. Yep, it lies between the infrared and microwave segment. It has a lot of interesting properties. The development of it, or capturing the terahertz or understanding terahertz, is still in the infancy. One of the interesting things about terahertz, which have been learned, is the peeling of an adhesive tape. Also, sometimes in 2009, it was discovered that also emits terahertz in a certain frequency. Well, speaking of the image, another question for you. Which rays do you think Hulk and She-Hulk were radiated with, or maybe Hulk was radiated with, which led to him becoming a Hulk? Which band of rays? You can answer it on the chat if you know the answer. Let's see who gets it right. You can, if you, do they have access to chat? Or people can answer on chat, right? Okay. So if you can access the chat or you can put it on chat, what race do you think was Hulk affected with, or what made him become a Hulk? Anyone wants to take a guess? Okay. So I don't know whether the chat is enabled, but yes, it is the gamma rays, which it was Bruce Banner was radiated with, and then subsequently he became Hulk. And his blood fell on, in an accident, fell on She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, and she became She-Hulk, the attorney.
So,
So
I
if
think,
you
sorry to interfere, a lot of students have typed gamma rays in the chat box.
But I couldn't see it, so that's why I was just.
Okay, maybe a lot of students, 5 to 10 students have
Oh,
typed.
okay, fine. Sorry,
Yeah.
I could view it. So my apologies to
okay,
all of
yeah,
you.
yeah.
My apologies to all of you. So yes, it is gamma rays. So great to all of you who are comic book fans. Of course, when we talk of science and science fiction sometimes intertwine. Let's move to the next question and see what is that. Question number 3 on your screens. An MRI or magnetic MRI uses magnetic fields and radio waves to measure how much dash is in different tissues of the body, maps the location of dash, and then uses this information to generate a detailed image. Fill in the blanks with what blank we are looking for. Is it oxygen, water, blood, or carbon? Which of these things is mapped by the amount of it available in different tissues helps us figure out or generate an MRI image. Okay, a few more seconds to go. I hope you have enough time to, it's not too fast for you. I've tried to keep enough time for all of you to answer. Yep, many of you got it right. We are looking for water was the answer which we were looking for. So an MRI is basically a non-invasive. So there are no rays which are passing through you. This is basically a magnet which aligns the protons of a body in the field. And when the field is removed, when they return to the original state, they emit energy is released, and the time taken by the energy and the quantum of energy which is released helps us get an image. And this is great imaging method when it comes to any soft tissue, especially brain, because there are other radiation which can harm us, but an MRI can give you a very good image of the human body and help us identify if there's something wrong, especially great in tumors, aneurysms, those kind. So now is the time for us to have a look at the score at the leaderboard for the first time. Akshay is right on top with 2,600 points. Just 300 points behind is Bhuvesh. Then we have Sri Kirti. And then we have Rahul, Pavitra, Rahul, Yashwendra, Abhi, Chaitanya, Puntyala. See, apologies for if I've got your name right. Looks like a close contest. Just Akshay, just letting you know in advance, in our quizzes, whoever is in the top in the first doesn't normally end up as. So just be a little cautious. Don't get complacent. Just a warning for you. I mean, all the top 3. It changes quite dramatically by the time we end the quiz. So do remember that. And as we say that, we move to question number 4 for all of you. In the 80s, actually in 1983, the US President Ronald Reagan announced an anti-ballistic missile program, which was designed to shoot down nuclear missiles in space using lasers. What was the nickname given to it, which was same as a popular sci-fi series? So in 80s, they came up with a program to shoot down nuclear weapons using lasers. Was it Galactica, Star Trek, Avengers, or Star Wars? What was this program called, which was announced by Ronald Reagan in 1983? It's no longer there. That program doesn't exist in that form. But what was that program? Also, very colloquially, this was in all popular circles, this was called. Yep, many of you are familiar. This was indeed Star Wars, not Star Trek or Avengers or Galactica. So it was a very surprise announcement actually when Ronald Reagan announced that, he did not believe that nuclear deterrence, like, Russia having, Soviet Union having nuclear weapons and, US having nuclear weapons will be a deterrent. He wanted some way in which you could shoot down the nuclear weapons. And he somehow latched onto this idea that lasers could be. By mid 80s or late 80s, they figured out that this would never work. However, because of that, what happened is that Russia, or rather Soviet Union, was not sure what was the progress US was making. So it was used as a bargaining chip by US in negotiations and, to say, hey, we have this sort of a thing. While it never really took off, it finally became an anti-ballistic program, a different kind of anti-ballistic missile program. And now I think it has a very different form altogether, in a very completely different form. Trump has revived it in a different form. But yeah, it was called Star Wars and middle of all that which happened. So that was the connection with lasers. I like this question and I wanted to ask this question with respect to lasers. So question number 5 now. MRI machines cannot function without 2000 liters of this rare element, which cools magnets used in the machine. Which rare element is this for which there is a global shortage, which is made worse by Ukraine war? So there's an element needed to cool down the MRI machines, and it's in severe shortage. So is it helium, neon, mercury, or lithium? Which element are we talking about, which is in severely short supply? The image might give you a hint. If you don't know anything about it, the image might give you a hint on what we are talking about. Yep, it was helium. Does anyone want to take a guess what the connection with the image was? Anyone in the chat can, post. I'm sorry, but I can't see the chat. So let me just see if I can. No, I can't. Sorry, I can't see the
So
chat.
if you have anything, you can just use the chat box if you have. Yes.
Okay, so the answer is balloons, because the helium is used to fill air balloons, which are used in parties and different purposes. So the advantage of using because these magnets get heated up at very high temperatures, and to cool them, you need helium is the only option which is there, because helium has a boiling point of minus 452 degrees. Interestingly, Russia and helium is not easily found, so it is found deep in the earth. Russia had planned a facility which would have supplied 1/3 of world's requirement of helium. Unfortunately, because of the war, trade between Russia and many other countries is sort of halted, especially US. So one of the fun things, one of the hospitals in a quote was saying that we won't be filling up any balloons in the gift shop. So, a lot of these balloons, especially in hospitals, they are wishing they will have these gas balloons filled with helium. They're saying helium is severely being rationed because MRI machines cannot work without this cooling liquid. So that's the helium connection. Now let's move to question number 6. I hope the image is clear. There are 3 images in this. Can you connect these 3 images to a one-word answer in the context of this quiz? You have to type the answer here. If you can't see, I can just give you a sense. There is some device, there is a monument with some lighting, and there is somebody who is undertaking an operation. If in case the images are not clear for you, you have to type an answer. We are looking for a one-word answer only. Please give me a one-word answer in the context of the program. It's not just generic. It is connected to what you have learned in the last few days. So what are we? What is that one word answer? One word which connects all these 3 images together. Laser, yep. Let me see other answers. We'll see if we can Okay, not light, not microwaves, not barometer. Laser tag. I don't want to give you that. That is a little. I'll give laser light. Okay, Samaya's answer I might accept. Scanning is not the answer. So laser light I will accept. Laser is acceptable. Eye laser Taj. I'm not sure. I'm okay. I'm being a little generous. I'll accept that also. So, okay, let me just go back to see full results.
Maybe
So
the laser surgery also, I think somebody have tried that.
I'm just seeing lens eye. Let me just see again if I missed anything with the laser. Oh, yep.
Yes, somebody have
Okay,
tried.
I'll accept that laser surgery. I'm in a
Yeah.
particularly generous mood. So I'll accept that. The answer which you're looking for is laser. Of course, as you know, barcode scanning involves laser. The light and sound show, that was Redfoot's light and sound show, which involves lasers. And of course, eye surgeries like cataract is done using laser. And of course, this has made it much easier, more convenient our lives. So yeah, that is that, and so many more applications of laser. So yep, that's the answer. Let's see the leaderboard now. And Akshay has maintained its lead, so it looks like he's heeded to my advice, and he's right at the top, followed by Sri Kirti. I think the second position has changed. Rahul was, I think, at second or third, probably. I'm missing that. Bhuvesh fourth. Puntiala has moved up. Dasari has moved up. Some of you obviously benefited with my generosity in the last question, but nevertheless, this is all we're having some good fun. I hope you are too. Let's move to the next question. 4 more questions to go, folks. Terahertz waves have which of the following properties? Ionizing and penetrating, ionizing and non-penetrating, non-ionizing and penetrating, and non-ionizing and non-penetrating. Which of the 4 options are we talking about? Can get confusing. So just be careful when you select the option because they are all very close to each other. And please remember to submit, not just select and wait. You lose out on the points if you're getting it right. If you're getting it wrong, of course, it doesn't matter. But yeah. This is one of the most important qualities about terahertz, which might change things in the future. It is indeed non-ionizing and penetrating. Anyone wants to tell me what does ionizing mean? You can do that in the chat box. What ionizing means? What does an ionizing wave do? What does it do? Anything? I mean, you might have learned it in the last few days. Yep. As you might be knowing, ionizing will change the property of the body or material. So X-rays are ionizing. So hence, it's always preferable to have some medium which doesn't change or doesn't cause harm. Obviously, we are talking about tiny amounts, but overexposure can cause problems as well. So terahertz has this ability to be non-ionizing while penetrating. So it can give you the image, but without it not really affecting the body. So that is why people are so excited about the application of terahertz waves. So also from a crime prevention perspective, it might be an interesting application. Okay, let's move to question number 8. Following are the 3 laws of robotics framed about 80 years ago by Isaac Asimov. So you need to fill in the blanks. So the laws are: robot may not injure a dash through inaction or allow a dash to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given to it by dash, except where such orders will conflict with the first law. And robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second law. So what is the dash or the blank which we are talking about? Very famous laws. Isaac Asimov framed them. As we said, we mentioned about Asimov Robotics, a company based in Kerala. Anything and everything in robotics probably starts from Isaac Asimov. Famous writer. Okay, last few seconds. It is indeed human being. Many of you got it right. Now let's see whether how many of you got it right earlier. Interestingly, I don't know whether you are familiar with that, there has been a updation of the laws of robotics by Frank Pascal, who's considered to be a sort of a robotics or an expert, and very interesting laws and whenever you have this discussion on robotics or AI, first thing is what will happen? Will they replace humans? Will they take over humans? So keeping that in mind, there are some new laws of robotics which have been proposed. They're not formalized. It's just something which has been proposed. They should complement the professions of humans and now take over them. They should not create counterfeit human intelligence. They should not lead to a zero-sum arms race, means not lead to a complete annihilation, and also indicate the owner or the creator's identity. So these are new set of laws which have been proposed 80 years after, of course, the first set of laws were proposed. Let's see. Now, do read up. The author's name is Frank Pascal. Very interesting. I mean, it's something which is we all need to think about as scientists, as individuals in this ever-changing world. Let's look at the leaderboard. And Akshay has created a very healthy lead. Normally, I would say that this is almost a winning lead, but we never know. 2 more questions to go. Things can still change. Rahul at second, Kirti at third, Pavitra at fourth, Dashri at fifth. There is still a lot of changes which can happen. Please don't lose heart. If you miss out on the top spot, you might still be among the top 5 or 10 folks here. Okay, let's go to the question number 9. Which company became the first to introduce holographic glasses, which enable users to create complex virtual objects? Is it Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon? Which tech major are we talking about? You definitely would know this answer. I mean, I'll be surprised if anyone gets it wrong, actually. Maybe in a hurry. Okay. Yep, it is indeed Microsoft. Their HoloLens, which was one of the first to be introduced. They have a HoloLens 2. HoloLens 2, which was also introduced recently. Great applications in manufacturing, I mean, obviously gaming, but it really virtually, the idea is that it can let a person who might not be very familiar with the particular application, like an industrial application, do it through interacting with other people who can collaborate and help that person do that. So that's the the advantage of holographic glasses. And I think Microsoft is like the prime mover in this. Okay, let's look at the score. Oh, looks like Akshay missed that one. So the Sri Kirti has moved up few spots. The lead is 800 points. Will that be enough to lead off, or will that change things for us in the last question coming up? Northwest corner, least cost, and Vogel's are methods used in calculation of cost of what aspect in an organization. These are all methods. You will see some box like that. Is it production, transportation, consumption, or hiring? What is it typically used for? What is it typically used for? Sorry, I got logged out of the chat. I'm just trying to get back. Yep, sorry. Okay. It is transport cost. So, I mean, if you saw the grade, you will know that, how Northwest corner method works with is you start with the Northwest corner, assign the maximum. So one side is supply, the other side is demand. So you try to start with the Northwest corner and then start filling the cells. The least cost method asks you to first assign most demand to the least cost and then move forward. Vogel's is a least cost with an iterative method, which helps you identify the lowest cost the sort of optimize the cost for transportation for goods using a supply demand table. So that's the last question of today's quiz. And let's see who has come on top. Very, very closely fought one, and Akshay has won the quiz. Congratulations, Akshay, for holding on to your lead from the beginning. Great quizzing by you. Followed by Rahul, who moved up. I think the last question. Sai Shri Kirti, good quizzing by you two. Dashari at 4th, Puntyala at 5th, Bhuvesh 6th, Shvendra 7th, Shayan at 8th, Pavitra, Likita, Sheetal, Sainandan, Yaknashri, Shweta. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had fun in this quiz. We have a lot of fun doing quizzes. Like I said, over to you, over to the organizers, I guess.
Yes, so thank you, Ashwin, and it was really wonderful. And I'm really sure that our students have enjoyed a lot, and maybe this was their first experience, maybe a good experience with these type of questions.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for coming. So thank you all, and I hope students are also benefited. So there comes an end to the program of Engineering Foundation program, the 5-day workshop. And I hope everybody have received some very good idea about the different technologies. And congratulations to all the winners and all the participants. And maybe within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll receive the prizes. We'll be asking for your address, and all the details will be done on a later stage. So thank you, students, for participating. And I hope the session was useful. You can just check the YouTube for the video. So all these videos are YouTube live, and it is available in our channel. So you can just refer it whenever you want. And if you have any doubts related to career or anything, you can directly contact our people. So thank you so much, students, for attending. And thank you, Ashwin, and also Jyoti Vaidyanathan. And I hope this was really wonderful. So thank you. Have a happy day.
Thank you. Thank you, Dishant. Thank you for doing all the backend. Thank you so much. Thank you all the students for joining us, and hope to see you again in some other quiz. Thank you. See you. Bye.